Hi, I'm Maria Thea Harris-Salvellosos on social media.
Art can be used in this way. That's how it's been used through time
Yeah.
to visually present what would be a struggle in words. You know, you can present it together as an image.
That's Rhonda. She's Anarchy Quilter. Women's heart health is different. Rhonda's over 50 post about So Do It for Heart 25 promoted discussions about women's heart health. Grab a cuppa to watch and listen to Rhonda's own heart disease reality. Rhonda, thank you for coming onto the podcast of Sober 50 today.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's wonderful to talk to you again, Maria.
For people who are listening, Rhonda is wearing a lot of redness, a lot of dark color, like dark pinks as well. And she's sitting in front of her Snakes and Ladders quilt.
Yeah, this one is all recycled fabrics and it's got an environmental theme. So you get to go up ladders if you do environmentally good things and down snakes if you're bad, like buy fast fashion. Go down a big snake.
And you've entered that into shows.
I've tried. I've got rejected twice, but I'm going to keep trying. It's large and it needs a bit of space to exhibit. And I think it would even be a challenge for the Creswick Art Show. So even they might reject it.
Can only try.
That's it. But I really hope it goes to Vic Quilter's showcase.
Rhonda, I've known you through your sewing and your quilting. Today's episode, though, is actually quite important for people to listen to. So can I open the floor to you?
Yes. So I've taken on the job of trying to spread the message about women's heart health and heart disease because, like most women, I think we all are led to culturally somehow we've got the idea that it's a problem for men more than women.
Yeah.
But it's actually the number one killer of women. We also have quite different symptoms for heart attacks. But actually, the thing that I found personally through my own journey is it's quite a big thing to get into your head if you have something wrong with your heart. So I thought one way to tackle this and also to help out the community is to sort of share Stitched Hearts with the message of heart health and heart disease and women and just start the conversation about this. So allow people to talk, get resources, look things up, maybe even get their own heart checked. And I know at the moment in my local area, they're asking for people to go to their GPs and ask for a heart health check. So that, I think, particularly in our sewing community, So Over 50 is very relevant. So that's a lot of the reasons behind So Do It for Heart. So it is supposed to be a light-hearted thing of sharing hearts and stitching hearts, and it's a bit of a personal challenge for me to try and incorporate it into as much as what I do, because it is a symbol that people do respond to, and the fact that it's got a little message behind it is a powerful thing. So Do It for Heart 25, I started that start of June. I did do So Do It for Heart 24 in October, November last year when I first thought of it. Then I only did it for a month, but I always meant to come back to it. I just at the time, it was a bit, I guess, got a bit overwhelming. I did a little bit of fundraising with that So Do It for Heart 24 with the Australian Heart Foundation.
Yep.
And got some really positive responses from them. I talked to their fundraising coordinators and they were quite enthused about it. But then in April this year, I started working with Her Heart, but I probably should backtrack, I think, and tell my own personal story, shouldn't I?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So my own personal story started really at the end of June last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd listened to my sister who is a GP, and she said, you know, there's heart disease in the family. You should get yourself checked. You're just about 55. Go and And I thought, well, I hadn't been to a GP for, I don't know, 15 years maybe. It's a long time, very
That
healthy.
is a long time.
And so I found a GP, and I said that I could get one if I, promised to have a long consultation and go through all these checks. So I went there, and she sent me for echocardiogram, and that was interesting. Like, it was, I thought a bit ridiculous that I was there because I felt too young to be doing all these tests. But anyway, it took ages. And I found out later, like 3 days later, that the reason that it took ages was because I have a dilated aorta, which I didn't know was a thing. And my GP sort of didn't really give me much information. She said, I'll refer you to a cardiologist, but they just check it every couple of years. It's, and I thought, well, that doesn't sound like anything to worry about. I did go to Japan just after that on a holiday, had a lovely time, but my legs all swelled up. I didn't really go down for the whole trip, so I thought that was a problem. I came back, and eventually I got to see a cardiologist in September.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did feel like a bit of a fraud. I looked around the room and I thought, no, I just don't belong here. There's old people here. What am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
So I had this visit, chat with this lovely cardiologist who was really quite nice, but he, like, the way he told me about the severity of, or the risks with this condition is, show me a picture of the heart and sort of went like this, this is the exploding. It could, say, and did sound effects too. So that took me a long while to get that into my brain. And then it's all about, from then on, I think I saw him about 4 times after that, and had to do CT scans to find out the diameter. They worry about the risks if your aorta is dilated, it has a bulge, and mine's just above the heart. And if it's over 5 centimeters, then you'd refer to the surgery. Mine was originally, at the echo, original was 4.9 centimeters. And when they did the original CT, it was 4.7. So that's 3 millimeters under the surgery level. So that was a bit of a relief. But since then, I had 2 trips to emergency with chest pain, and it was 4.4 was another measurement.
Right.
And then they said 5 in March, which really worried me. But my cardiologist was like, no, that I don't believe that figure. I'm an engineer and a maths teacher. So if you say you don't believe data, I think you should interrogate the data, particularly when it concerns me. I was not really happy with that. And I found out about her heart due to my Braveheart blues, because I wanted to share that with these heart charity organisations.
Yep.
Because I thought that was a powerful image. So I shared it with her heart and got a pretty good response. And I shared my story, and then I got a response from the CEO of her heart, Dr. Linda, and she said, would you like a name of a good cardiologist?
Great.
For a second opinion. So she gave me a name, and it was pretty quick, actually. So I got a name of a good cardiologist, and I did get to see him in Melbourne, and he was like excellent, much more ready to answer questions. So that's one of the examples of what her heart is there to do to help women, because what you can find is that you are, which I have experienced, is written off as being a bit hysterical and overly emotional, because we do describe our symptoms it's more about how we feel. That's how we verbalize things. And I've read that in this, what they talk about with medical misogyny. That's the big difference between men and women. Men are apparently more factual, and women, and I know I'm guilty of that, I'll describe pain as annoying, distracting, and all those things. That was a good thing they did for me. So that is what led me to really go, okay, I really feel like I want to start up So Do It for Heart in a much more serious way and do it indefinitely to try and really spread the message and, in a positive way for women to, take their heart health seriously and realize it is our problem. It is not just a male problem.
Mm-hmm.
And start the conversation. And as also I'm working with Her Heart as well. I'm actually been talking to their head of fundraising, as well as I've had conversations with Dr. Redika, who is the manager of Her Heart, as well as Dr. Linda. So we've got a few things apart from what I'm doing at the moment.
And also last week you had a post on the Sober 50 account as well.
Yes, which is brilliant.
I mean, that was a really good way to show people in the community what it is that you're doing and how other sewers have been using the heart symbol in their clothing.
Absolutely. And it's been fantastic to see. Like every time I see a heart being shared, it's a big smile.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm straight away resharing it on my stories and putting it in another post. And I also post them in the Her Heart community group,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite a small group. But there's not a lot of interaction there, but always gets positive comments and, a little bit of joy back.
Rhonda, tell us more about your involvement with Her Heart now that you've made that contact with them.
The current thing I've just done with my open studio is to share their Gold for Good fundraising. What you do is you can put in an envelope. It's a prepaid envelope to send back to them, postage prepaid, and you send any unwanted silver or gold. It doesn't matter if it's orphan pairs of earrings or broken or whatever. So I gave away during my open studio 36 of those envelopes, which were very happily received.
Okay.
I don't expect everyone to use them, but people actually were really positive, went, oh, that's a good idea, particularly in my community, a lot of us, retirement age. So have a lot of unwanted jewelry that we may have inherited. So that's a really great fundraiser. And I think you can go on their website and they'll send you one if you wanted to do that. I also donated 10% of my sales, which ended up being $27 to them. In the future, there's a few things planned, and not all of them am I allowed to talk about, but
Okay.
one of the things that we're going to do, and this is a bit of a teaser, is I had this idea for 100 heart block quilt, but I want it to be not just quilters putting a block forward. So a block in quilting terms is just a square. And the idea is you have one person do one square and get 100 of them together and stitch it into a quilt top and then bat it up and back it and make it a quilt. So it's the age-old community quilt block, which quilting guilds do all the time.
Right.
But I thought on a bigger scale, and added to this, each quilt block has to be some sort of heart design. It can be painted, it just has to be fabric, but it can be painted or appliqued or pieced. But it also needs to come with a name of a female, just their first name, who has, it could be them, or female past or present, who has had some sort of heart issue, disease, condition, whatever you like to call it.
Yep.
And be sent with a little paragraph about that person. So they're still anonymous, because I think the idea of having 100 blocks and 100 hearts together, it's just that mass idea that, yeah, this is a big thing. Look at all these people. And it's a great way of sort of, yeah, just making a statement, I guess.
Yeah, it'll demonstrate the number of women who have experienced heart disease, um, rather than it just being seen as a male issue.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
it's a powerful thing, and I think, art can be used in this way. That's how it's been used through time
Yeah.
to visually
Yeah.
present what would be a struggle in words. You can
Mm.
present it together as an image. So that's the start of it. There's other things that we're talking about that'll be exciting. And I've spoken to a couple of people like quilters and sewers alike that I do know, and they've gone initially, oh, we just want to put your name on it. And I'm like, surely you know other people. And then they go, oh, they don't have to be alive. Oh, my mother. Oh, my aunt. When I was thinking about this and talking about my own family history of heart
Yeah.
disease, which is one of the things that's very important to if you go to your doctor for a heart check, that's one of the things they first talk to you about. So you have to pre-prepare that a little bit. It was all about male relatives. Now, there must be female relatives, was my response, but I don't know the stories. So that's, again,
Mm.
part of this cultural bias that we are given, fed, even in this modern age, that somehow the women's stories are not carried down through the family. Maybe we're not seen as important. So that hurt a little bit.
Mm.
So I think I need to do better there. And that was the response from some of the other friends I've talked about too. They went, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, my mum, my grandma. Because I mean, everyone, I suppose, has to,
Yeah.
they die of something. It's very highly likely that it probably is the heart at the end.
From a personal perspective, you're saying that you should do better or whatever. And I'm sitting there
Mm.
thinking, I just want you to be well. Personally speaking, I just want you to be well and that you're getting good care,
Yeah.
and that we'll always see you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I am getting good care, but I am at the stage where, well, because I've had all these different CT results, I still haven't got the results from it because my new lovely cardiologist went on 3.5 weeks leave just as I did that test, and he's very busy. So I'm
Hmm.
patiently waiting, but to see exactly the size and shape of my aneurysm, and it will be interesting. So because he's
Mm.
quite high up cardiologist, he was able to send me to St Vincent's Private to do what they call a TAVI, which they normally do it if they're going to, it's transarterial valve insertion, it stands for, but that's not what's happening. But they do this special CT where they do a measurement every millimetre
Wow.
to find the diameter of the aorta. So that was pretty impressive, but took a long time
Mm.
because even the new machines to calculate was apparently a big deal. But I don't know the results of that. So that'll be interesting just from like a math science point of view. So, I mean, in terms of my condition, you can live with this indefinitely. It's just at the point of where they deem that the risk of surgery, and the risk of surgery is quite a large surgery because the aorta takes the blood out of the heart. So
Mm.
it is a significant surgery with a lot of
Mm.
risk, but they do that rather than having it rupture, which is a
Hmm.
high likelihood of not surviving that. So it's a
Yeah.
risk, and that's a hard thing to weigh up because
Mm.
you're like, when you hear about this, you're sort of like, well, just cure me, just cut it out. And it's not that simple.
No.
But I mean, you can live with this. And, and all you have, and the big concern is to make sure your blood pressure is controlled. So I have to have a fair bit of blood pressure medication and
Yep.
monitor my own blood pressure and make sure. So that was fun when there was a blood pressure challenge in June. So I did that a couple of times, posted my blood pressure. But yes, so that's the only real concern. And apart from, it doesn't affect your life too much, apart from the fact you get just a bit, I don't know, I get tired, but it's not a big concern.
But you do rest.
Yes, I am forced to. I just come to a screeching halt. Have to put my feet up, which, yeah, I've always been a bit of an active person, still am, but
Hmm.
I just go till I stop.
Yeah.
It's my policy.
You are still very active. Very, very active.
spend a bit of time on the couch these days, but it's okay.
It's quality time.
Yeah. And I've always
Yeah.
been a bit like that, stop and go. So you just have to enjoy the moments, and the challenge with So Do It for Heart has been a good focus, I think. To focus on trying to do something, not just to help yourself, but other people, is a positive thing to do, and spread the message is a good thing.
And is that
Because
what you want listeners to understand before we finish up?
yes, definitely. And I mean, look, they could be unlucky like me and have this dilation, but it is better, if you're going to go and do the echocardiogram as a check for your heart, it's better to know than not know.
And for listeners who are not based in Australia, if they want to contact a similar Her Heart organisation in their country, would they be able to contact Her Heart and find the relevant one in their
Yeah,
country?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's different ones with different focuses through the world. There's lots of heart organisations, not just Heart Foundation and Her Heart in Australia. There's Victor Trang and a few others, but
Yep.
Her Heart is unique in that it is focusing on this issue that women face in having different symptoms and getting dismissed as hysterical, which is, I wouldn't have thought was a thing, but I can tell you it is a thing. And even having a female GP, actually, I have experienced that with female GPs. It's like, well, I think I'm allowed to be a little bit anxious about this, but,
It's your life.
yeah. So you're not expected to be, shouldn't expect me to be over the moon about it. I just want to know the facts and
Yeah.
be able to move forward.
People who follow you on Instagram should keep their eye out for any messages about getting good heart health advice, and
Yeah.
also in undertaking or participating in the 100 Heart
Yes.
Book Challenge.
Yes. I think that's going to be a thing. I'm thinking too, because I've been making so many hearts lately that when I start that, I will share some ways of different heart blocks and actually share the making of them a bit more than I do typically.
Again, it's more work, but I think a lot of people are going to really appreciate it, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun to do. Fun challenge.
It will be. And don't forget to have that quality time with the lounge, with the couch.
Oh, yes. Yes. My favourite place.
Rhonda, thank you for being on the podcast for Organised Style and also for Sober 50.
Pleasure. Absolutely lovely to speak to you again, Lynn.
Thank you.
Okay. See ya.
This episode of Sober 50 podcast on Organised Style was both video and audio produced by me, Maria Thea Harris, in my sewing room with permission of Rhonda and Her Heart. Sound by Kanife on YouTube. Many thanks for the ongoing support of the podcast Patreon contributors. Their ongoing support every month enables me to develop these podcasts for free. You can subscribe to So Organised Style podcast, spelled with an S, not a Z, on all good podcast apps. Make sure you go back and listen to our free Sober 50 podcast archive on So Organised Style. You can direct message Sandy and the editors at Sober 50 on Instagram to contribute to their ongoing posts and challenges the team promotes to the community. I look forward to joining you in your sewing room next time. Stay safe, everyone.